There I was, surrounded by Canadian game show legends, and just to my left was a host many consider the greatest from any country, Alex Trebek.
Alex Trebek should be on the Mount Rushmore of game show hosts. And he's Canadian, though there is rumor that the mustache was imported.
Alex Trebek is the hero of the Canadian game show hosts because there's a guy who came from Sudbury, much like Alan Thicke came from the Northern Ontario region, to become a huge American star on television. Of course, he didn't start that way.
Alex Trebek started working as a staff announcer on the CBC during his university days in Ottawa. He graduated in 1961 and pretty much did every job that you could think of, news coverage, curling, along with doing variety shows. And so he got his feet wet in everything before anyone had ever heard of him.
Alex Trebek is much more than a game show host. Alex Trebek is an American institution, and it all started in Canada with his work on local shows.
30 minutes ago, the executive or producer of this television show, Weekend, asked me to come out here and talk for 3 minutes on anything.
He hosted panel shows and game shows, the Spelling Bee and things like that.
He was on very obscure Canadian shows, Music Hop, and probably like Mel's Rock Pile from SCTV.
Hi kids, welcome back to Music Hop. Today we're going
Strategy was another title.
Strategy was a complex, large-scale game show that involved a maze-like set and even booby traps, but Trebek handled it with confidence beyond his years.
Then he hosted Stars on Ice, which was kind of like Battle of the Blades in more recent times. It was literally people skating around. All of these incarnations were parodied on SCTV. You would think SCTV hated Alex Trebek. They loved him, they lionized him, and it was generally Eugene Levy who would play him, and it was always fun.
People, do not wave your hands, use your bells, please use your bells.
I was very fortunate to work with Alex on an early game show that he did. Alex was a very experienced broadcaster already. He had worked for years at CBC, drove a silver Cadillac, I remember. He was a very cool dude, very, very great to work with, a real pro.
Well, one of the reasons he's considered the greatest Canadian host, or maybe any game show host, is just longevity. I mean, it's an incredible run. He's been doing it 50 years, if you go back to the Canadian shows. More than that. He's very precise.
He is prepared, he's letter perfect.
Diplomatic, gracious, elegant host.
People just like Alex Trebek and always have.
I just can't imagine any person other than Alex hosting Jeopardy!